Peace. 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 Happy now. Now is the vibrate, of course. Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past. Right now. Right now, I want to speak a little bit on shadow people. In a conversation I had about shadow people lately, matter of fact, I came across my friend Heather, aka Isis, aka my spirit guides and ancestors' messages in the flesh. Because basically, like, I've did a video about the person I met on the bus, but basically that's who I'm talking about. And like, she comes at these moments and just drops some little jewels on me. Matter of fact, recently she had spoke on the subject of shadow people and dark beings, and speaking on the atmosphere of different places. Cause I always bring up like how New Orleans, like where you could feel the 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 high vibrations and the you know what I'm saying the light, but you also feel the shadow people just as strong as you feel the light. You know what I'm saying? And it's one of the things where you could just feel both mixtures of those vibrations. But we're speaking on how the vibrations of different cities are dealing with, shadow people and the high vibration light beings, and what's like the different types or the ratios. But what we're speaking on is how, like, say for instance in New Orleans, those shadow people are more playful, and when we're speaking of shadow people, this like, this is like four dimensional beings that are like of the negative, lower vibrational part of the spectrum. Let's put it like that, But these are four-dimensional beings that, matter of fact, you also probably have seen them waking up from dreams and certain things of this nature. They'll be standing in the room. I also saw people speaking on the Hat Man. It's like a dark entity that has a hat that a lot of people see. I haven't seen them, but that's one thing I have seen a lot of people bring up videos and speak on. But in New Orleans, the shadow people have more of a playful aspect to them. So like, yeah, it's gonna pull you to the darkness. It's gonna pull you away from your light self, from your light being, but in a fun, enjoying type of way. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, let's get drunk. You know what I'm saying? Hey, let's have unprotected sex. Hey, like, and which when I say that, asterisk, because sexual transmitted diseases, no diseases exist. All diseases are figments of your mind. Matter of fact, I'm about to make this not gonna be no double video, but it's two things you can look up. In this book, Cyclomancy actually speaks on it too. Cyclomancy speaks on how, like, dealing with syphilis and hysteria are two proven factors that showed how dis-ease of the body is imitated by the cells in our body. Like, basically, like, explain the placebo effect. But like, it was an experiment they did dealing with syphilis, which I forgot the name of the syphilis organism, Treponema pallidum. But basically, like, the body imitates these diseases, like the cells. That's how powerful our cells are. Like, they imitate these diseases, and like people with hysteria have this ability even stronger. Like people that say for instance like post-traumatic stress from the army, those type of people in essence, because like they had studies where soldiers lost their sense of smell just off of the strength of mentally, like, after having to bury so many of the brethrens out there on the battlefield and all that, that smell, they just kind of tune their sense of smell out, to where when they would test them and do all this stuff, it would see like, oh, they really lost their smell. Some people, lost their sight because their mind just didn't want to see things on that level, so it manifested it into blindness. You know what I'm saying? These are proven facts. So when I say, and I'm back to the point, not dealing in New Orleans and the shadow people, but you know what I'm saying, with the unprotected sex thing and disease, like, I'm just for for lack of a better word or lack of a better example, I'm just like, unprotected sex. But anyway, back where I was. The shadow people in New Orleans are more of a fun having, like let's Mardi Gras, let's get drunk, let's do a little heroin, let's do, unprotected sex. You know what I'm saying? Let's, just have fun. And yes, it comes in the form of fun, but it is pulling your light and drawing you down into that, and matter of fact, you could almost say that you got a light vortex and a dark vortex in New Orleans also from that, because I feel like you could either be pulled in by the darkness, matter of fact, and one thing in New Orleans, you feel the vibrations of all the stuff that went on. Like, you feel those storylines happening around you. Like, I feel the FBI running around with Harry Oswald hiding after they stage Kennedy assassination, like, because that was one of the places they was in, New Orleans. Like, you feel that vibration of like these Confederate soldiers, and in fact, you feel the vibe of Mary LaVue. You know what I'm saying? The voodoo vibrations, like you feel all of that, but it has like, those dark beings have more like a party mode to them. Now, Heather was telling me though, like in the Appalachian Mountains, she was like, those shadow beings are cutthroat and straight to the point. Where as soon as you kind of venture off into a certain part of the woods, you get the shadow people telling you like, do not pass this point or we're gonna kill you. Like, not even though we're gonna have fun, play around, like, nah, you should turn around right now. Like, and you could feel the threat, like, cause that's the thing too. I know on DMT trips you could feel the thickness of the area if something is of a lower vibration or like a negative, vibration. You could actually feel the, that lower vibration and that uneasiness. But she was like in the Appalachian Mountains, it's direct and cutthroat. Like, you could almost feel like if I make a step in it further, they will try to take my life or kill me. You know what I'm saying? That's like, like real dark beings. Matter of fact, I bug calling that she said that. I was like, that's probably, I don't know, I think the Appalachians reached down that far. I was like, it's probably in Stone Mountain where the KKK started. I'm pretty sure the shadow people around there is pretty cutthroat, so to speak. Especially if they coming from the ancestors. Some ancestors, some ancestor shadow beings. I know how they feel and how they're coming. So if I felt them say something like that, I would definitely turn around too, because I wouldn't think that they're bluffing. But basically, yeah, she was explaining like the different, types of shadow people and energies, and also she had brought up how like the energy in San Bernardino, where I'm at now, San Bernardino, California, how the energy here is kind of gonna change into that half what she called bohemian or hippie, or like that light bringing the conscious movement, the high vibrationals, fun having beings, and it's gonna be part of the darkness with the cartels and all the the mafia things that's going on. You know what I'm saying? But she was like, it's slowly gonna blend into that type of vibe where you could feel both of them. Cause like right now, it's more just straight. It's more darkness in this city. Like in San Bernardino, I feel like I mean, of course, you got the little few sprinkles of light. And matter of fact, and that's what she said. She was like how some places have like a high ratio of, how I say, like how you got high vibrational beings and you got high vibrational beings. Like some areas got like a general population of just like, a nice little high vibrational general population. But just like in San Bernardino, it's a little more polarizing. It was like, by majority, most people not really high vibrational or woke, but she was like, when you do come across somebody, she was like, it's somebody like, she was like using me for example, or somebody that's just really like, close to the light, you know what I'm saying? And then you also have that other polarity of, the darkness dealing with the cartels and stuff like this. Because I tell anybody as I walk around, that's the difference I felt with from Louisiana to Cali is I felt like the so much going on behind the scenes feeling. Like you could feel it, even though you cannot say, I know this is happening behind the scenes, I know that exactly is happening. But you could just feel that darkness is around you and that you're in your light bubble, because like it's so many times that I know I done came across certain people who don't see humans as don't value humans' well-being and things of this nature. Like I've crossed paths with those people, but again, I be in my light, and I'm pretty sure they feel my people with me, cause I got, you know what I'm saying, like, we all in some form or fashion we affiliated with with somebody, for the better or the worse. But I have my beings and my people around me, so I guess that kind of shut it down, like, because you do get that vibe in life where, like, no matter, like, say for instance from the opposite side of the spectrum, where say for instance light being and dark being, but we have that respect because we know if we went to war we would just tear each other to pieces, like, it would be pointless. You kind of feel that vibe sometimes with, with a lot of dark beings, like, that's why too, and like what Dick Gregory always bring up, like knowing the God within. Like I don't ever worry about nothing. Like if source decides to stop me from spreading this knowledge and being on, on my journey, then so be it. But I'm not gonna carry a gun and be worried about it and wondering what this person gonna do and wonder, like, nah, like, it is what it is. Matter of fact, that's what a DMT trip and the crossing over and experiencing, like having that death experience come in handy. Like, well, I done died already. Like, matter of fact, and I was almost in a point of not wanting to leave. So, I'm not fearful of that situation. It's that, it's that essence. But again, back to the point of like the polarization in this town in San Bernardino, where you got the, that polarizing darkness, but then you got the little polarizing light beings. But what she said, she feel like the movement is gonna change, where it's gonna become like a majority of like a balance of the light beings, you know what I'm saying, and having more light beings and more high vibrations with the lower vibrations, and and dealing with the shadow people and the cartels, all this different situations. Matter of fact, she explained it like in which I never been to Austin, but I kind of got the picture of, like, she's like in Austin, Texas. That's kind of that vibe. Like you got you feel the vibe of the racist, Nazi type of vibe, but you also feel the good vibes of the bohemian, the hippie, the high vibrational vibes. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a balance compared to that polarization. Because matter of fact, I feel like even though it's unlike San Bernardino with the shadow people, I feel like New Orleans has that polarization too. Like you could find the lightest of the light dealing with New Orleans, and you could also find the darkest of the dark. But because the shadow people are playful, it doesn't come off as that cutthroat, but you could feel them. You know what I'm saying? And people who feel energy, you know what I'm talking about. You could just feel it. Because another thing dealing with California that I realize is that as much as it is high vibrational, matter of fact, back to the polarization, as much as they have high vibrational people, and you got rocks and minerals to mine, you got all these different groups and yoga, you got Venice Beach, you got all these high vibrational things, but all those high vibrational things are matched, if not almost swallowed up, by the shadow side. And because matter of fact, with Hollywood out here, you got a lot of fakeness out here. So you got a lot of posers and and clones, and matter of fact, and agents walking around here, for the better or worse. Matter of fact, 'cause you got Bohemian Grove in California where the presidents meet up, so it's polarizing. You got a lot of light and darkness, and I felt that because when people ask, like, you feel a vibe, and I'm like, yeah, it's good vibes, but I mean, honestly, to a certain extent, like I said, not to say that it can't be felt, but like, you have the good vibes, but because of that Hollywood vibe and so many people just, that you don't know, or just out there, it does kind of throw off the high vibrational vibe of how I say, like, of you really feeling that high vibration by having all this other stuff that's going on in California. It kind of like coats it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, like, say for instance, even when meeting people, you don't feel like you could just be super, like, open all the way, because it's like, this person could be a complete agent where they could play the role good and got a whole different agenda, setting you up to be somebody in this sacrifice or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel that vibration out here. Like, it's good vibes, but you also feel like like a fakeness to some of the good vibes, to just, you know, put it in perspective. You know, because of all the, like I said, all the stuff you got going on with Hollywood and all the little agents that's getting MK'd Ultra and, you know, all this situation going on, you could feel a mixture of both. But mostly, you know, most of all cities have like those type of vibes, and in essence, like you could peep out the different vibes of different cities. Like matter of fact, I feel like New York, New York seems like it carries that old England vibe, like, you know what I'm saying. Matter of fact, and that vibe of like Gangs of New York. Like if y'all ever familiar with that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, like that movie there, I feel like that's the vibe that I would basically feel in New York, like all those cultures mixing together for the better and for the worse, you know what I'm saying? Feeling all the bloodshed and all the racism and all the, you know, the different situations with classism, religiousism, like, you know, just all the separatist situations like that was going on, like when New York was first settled, you know. But like you could feel those vibes, like in Baton Rouge, I feel the Civil War vibe. Like I feel General Robert Lee, fucking, and all that, you know what I'm saying, evilness, quote unquote evil, because I'm speaking from a human perspective, not from a God, because we understand that this is a big, you know, matrix and a big game in essence. But on a human level, you know, Robert E. Lee, all these Confederate soldiers and that vibration, like you feel that. You also feel the vibe of the slaves and the melanated people, you know what I'm saying, and the righteousness on that tip, you know what I'm saying. Like you feel both vibes. Cause another thing in Louisiana, you do feel the vibe of the ancestors strongly. Like matter of fact, if that's something too, you could feel the youngness of areas. That's something I forgot to speak on. Like out here in Cal, like when I'm in New Orleans, when I'm back home, like I could feel the ancientness in Louisiana. Like I could feel Napoleon Bonaparte and Lewis and Clark and the Louisiana Purchase. Like I feel that oldness to it. And when you come to Cali, like matter of fact, in a city like San Bernardino, where it probably hasn't been around for over 200-300 years, you know, I just do a number out there, but you know, like the cities and the settlements in California, especially in this area, are a little younger. You know what I'm saying? I feel that, like I feel like the history, like I could grab a rock and throw and hit the foundation of, you know, when things started in this area, compared to like a Louisiana where I could just feel like the timelines of things, you know, and the ancientness vibration of that place, you know what I'm saying, compared to like, well, some places where I could just feel the newness of it. You know, I feel like it's like a just a baby fire, like just new energy, you know what I'm saying, where it haven't even had a lot of things to happen yet, like compared to, like I say, like where you could feel, excuse me, like in New Orleans, where you feel all those different vibes. You feel the happiness, you feel the sadness, you feel, you know, the FBI. You feel like all the different aspects. You know what I'm saying? You feel it. Well, I brought up FBI because, you know, there's a lot of dirty things. Like matter of fact, in most cases, dirty things happen throughout all different states, but New Orleans definitely throughout history was used to hide, whether it was certain people or to hide certain situations, you know, from the bigger light of the whole America scene. You know, a lot of little secret things happen in New Orleans, and you feel all those vibes, you know. But that's basically it, because it wasn't just about shadow people, but just about feeling vibes of different areas too. Because another thing too, though, that's what we kind of dealing with after this eclipse. You know what I'm saying? Is the parts of the shadow self that are there to embrace. Because remember, the shadow self kind of correlates with your moon sign. And you know, with every zodiac sign, every planet, every chakra, you know, matter of fact, the universe, you know, the law of polarity. You know, you got your negative and your positive, you know what I'm saying? And with the shadow self being exposed during eclipse, you know, it was to get rid of the things that's no longer serving you, but it's parts of, you know, the shadow self in essence, that have positive aspects to it, you know. But you know, that's kind of like the theme. Matter of fact, cause too, also the veil has been lifted even more and more after the eclipse. So a lot of you are probably seeing shadow people and coming across shadow people. You know, where you thought you saw something in the corner and you look. And matter of fact, I tell people too, they'll come in the form of just an object that you could take as a human. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd be walking down the street and I look at, like, out of the corner of my eye. At first it looked like a human and it's really just a tree, but I'm like, that's the tree. But that in the essence, that, you know, with me noticing as a human, that was that being trying to get my attention. You know, but the shadow beings are definitely coming out. You know, so stay protected, definitely. But also don't be fearful, you know what I'm saying? Because it's two sides to one coin, and you are the one coin, you know, and the shadow beings are that polarizing opposite side. You got heads or tails. You got heads, the light, tails, the dark. You know, tails, the root chakra, head, the crown chakra. You know, you see how that, matter of fact, it's funny how they play out on the coin, you know, that duality. But it's both sides to one coin. So don't be scared. Just be aware. You know what I'm saying? Because your shadow self and shadow people, are the negative aspects of them are that they are trying to bring you away from your light. You know what I'm saying? For in which in some cases, not some cases, like some of us beings are darker beings. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not talking to people who resonate with the dark. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about, you know, the people who resonate with the light, in essence. Because another thing too, though, when I say resonate with the dark, I just mean mostly with the dark, because a part of being a balanced being is embracing the dark and the light. You know what I'm saying? The yin and the yang. That's the balance of the universe. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause, like, look at it like every aspect of everything with the balance, like light and dark. You know what I'm saying? Well, say for instance, it's not just sunny all the time, and the sun not just close up on us, cause it'll burn us up, and we're not just being overly how can I say, overly provided with water, you know what I'm saying, in that essence, because we would drown. You know, you need the balance. Same thing with the light and dark. It's a balance. Now, some of us will find this balance. Some of us not really looking for that balance, you know. But that's what's really going on right now. It's kind of like, you know, people still kind of have that shadow self lingering around. As a matter of fact, and you got shadow people, you know, around, and it's that battle. Like, say for instance, the Armageddon, the battle, the angels versus demons is going on right now. Like the Da Vinci Code moving, even though they trying to hide the realness of the situation from you, and it's not really giving you no real information on that. Like that battle is going on right now. Set and Horus is fighting in your physical body. Set and Horus is fighting outside in, you know, in all of the realms in the world. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's the battle that's going on right now. Is the light and the dark, you know what I'm saying? And finding that balance. I'm sorry, I'm kind of like trying to get things out quickly, but that's basically it. I just wanted to share the different aspects of, like, certain cities dealing with the, you know, the shadow people, and the vibe that, you know, certain cities carry dealing with shadow people, you know. As a matter of fact, with Venice Beach kind of would be like the closest to a New Orleans vibe, you know, as far as like that light dark mixture. But even if, you know, even with the darkness, the shadow beings kind of seem like they got a playful side in Venice, you know, which I hadn't stayed long enough, because honestly too, it feel like Venice barely even have shadow people to a certain extent. Like, the shadow people in Venice is like they had a very low ratio. Because now when I think about the vibe I felt, and I even felt, because I wondered, I'm like, but what about at night? But I'm like, well, no, I was around there after dark. and it still was like a good vibe. Like it still like it felt like now that I think back, it almost felt like they had no shadow people, but I'm not that naive. Like I know there's just so much going again. There's so much going on in California to where I know that yeah, you got in plain sight. You know, you see everybody having fun and drum circles and all this, but you know, it's a big universe and there's things everywhere. And they probably still have some lower vibrational beings or some, you know, some of those fourth dimensional shadow people around Venice, but you just can't. I ain't gonna say can't. It's hard. It's difficult to feel them, and that's for me in my own experience. You know, I didn't really feel too much of the darkness compared to like New Orleans, because even like I said, New Orleans, even though they're dark, they're playful dark beings. Just because they playful, matter of fact, that could be worse. At least I guess like in the Appalachian Mountains where like they let you know like turn around. You know, matter of fact, in essence, I guess that would be the vibe of that forest in Japan that they recently made a movie about, like the little suicide forest, you know, where people go into it and end up committing suicide. And what's funny, like I know that's true. Like I could feel the truthness to it, cause this the thing too, where even if it, say for instance, if it was false, after so long of people actually going in there and committing suicide and or coming up missing, like it just adds to that vibration, you know, to the point of like, well, you know, now at this point that forest probably for sure really carries that vibration of being like a suicidal forest. You know, I'm pretty sure like, you know, the Devic Kingdom in there is like, you know, as some fairies that you don't really want to meet up in there. You know, because the elementals are a reflection of the area, you know, and vice versa. So if it's that bad in that area, then, you know, I mean, Devic Kingdom and the elementals kind of going with that vibe also. So, but that's basically it. Peace. Happy now. Now is the vibrate. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now.